farming. Nowadays it has become really widespread and farm maps have evolved a ton, revolutionized by mappers like Sotarks, Fiery Rage, Logoff, now you name it. And although farming is often frowned upon and nobody likes to be called a farmer, who doesn't like seeing their rank go up from less complicated and easy to read maps, right? Although the farm map's skill to PP ratio can be really drastic, especially on shorter jump maps. Harumochi Clover. At least the difficulty is consistent across those maps, for the most part. Once in a blue moon, something special happens. A map that is seemingly simple and easy, for some reason, will give out PP like it's nothing. In this video, we'll be looking at two specific maps. One of them being Zanei, a more recent event that probably most of you can remember, and the other being the lesser known Watercolour, which has an interesting reason for being so broken. So sit down, lay back, and let's go over some Osu trivia. It's the summer of 2014. To give a better understanding of how long ago this is in Osu's history, the PP record at the time was a 533 PP play done by Raruchi on remote control. And no, not the newer remote control, the old remote control. Yeah, it was a fair bit of time ago, but during all of this, there was a star rating rework in the making. Prior to it, most maps would top out at 5 stars, and it was much harder to differentiate easy maps from hard maps. To make up for this, the lead developer of the PP system at the time, Tom, wanted to inflate the star values. Parallel to the change, on June 10th, the map Pendulum Watercolor was qualified. The top difficulty at the time was 3 stars. Obviously that was changed, getting bumped up to about 4.5 stars. However, because it was qualified at the right time, the algorithm still recognized the newer star rating as coming from the old system. So when it got ranked, something went wrong and the map was readjusted again. And although the star rating hadn't changed, the PP values did, and that led to some insane results. Within the first couple of hours, everyone and their mother were playing the map to be able to get the free performance points from it. An FC with no mod would grant the player about 300 PP, but players back then were skilled enough to try it with mods, and the players who FC'd the map with Hard Rock were granted upwards of 500 PP. Put on Hidden and players would get well over 550 PP. Remember, the PP record at the time was 533. These Hidden Hard Rock FCs managed to beat that with probably less than 1/10 of the effort required for the remote control play. Obviously, this is not where it would end. A handful of top players decided to try the map with double time. While most wouldn't succeed, there was one that stood out from the crowd. Sayonara Bai, the rank 1 player at the time. He would choke an FC with 94.96 accuracy. FC or not, it didn't really matter because this play was worth 784 PP, a whopping 251 performance points above the record. If not before, I think now you can understand why people consider this the most broken map in Osu history. Unfortunately though, the map would be disqualified and requalified later to fix the bug, and the players that abused the map for PP gains were temporarily restricted. Some notable players of those were Azer and Sayonara Bai, but they would be unrestricted on the same day. The so-called Watercolour incident will go down in Osu history as one of the biggest PP system fails, and it has been the only one of its kind. The map was released at the perfect moment for the system to fail, but fortunately or unfortunately such error in the system has yet to be replicated.
Wait, that was it? Where's the hard part? Is this supposed to be the hard part?
Zanei, a map that will definitely ring many bells in nearly every player nowadays. And although it can be said that Zanei is just a recreation of the Watercolour incident, as they may seem identical on the surface. But when you look deeper in, it is clear that these two maps, although both broke the PP system, are much different in how they did it. With Watercolour, it was just luck that it was ranked in the specific moment, whereas Zanei features what is called a sleeper pattern. The mapper behind it all, Lasse, had released a map back in October 2021, Hades The End. Back then it was a pretty normal map, but after a rework it was heavily buffed. This sparked an interest in Lasse to see what caused the buff to happen. He would delete random parts to check and locate where the pattern was, and he would find a linear jump pattern with big spacings between them. This was the sleeper pattern. The person behind the rework that allowed this pattern to basically give away free PP was Zanei. He would find out about this pattern himself. He teased it in a Reddit thread, saying that if used right with the right song, it could break the PP system. And although he wouldn't specify what the pattern was, the mapper Lasse already knew about it, so it didn't really matter. Lasse would find a song that just so happened to have a section where such a pattern could fit, and it wouldn't take him long to finish and release the map to the servers. And after it was ranked, the Osu community went nuts. Once again, everyone was hopping on the bandwagon to try and get their share of the potential free PP. With high enough accuracy, a Nomad FC would grant the player well over 400 PP. And considering the patterns are not rhythmically complex, getting high AC was no challenge for the average Osu player. And by putting on mods like Hard Rock, players could get upwards of 550 PP. Put hidden and high enough accuracy into the mix, and you could be looking at a 600 PP play. Nowadays, with the same accuracy and mods, you'd be looking at a score that is just barely above 500 PP. However, the real deal came when some of the Osu's highest ranked players decided to try and play the map with double time. And one of them was Utami, the rank 1 US player. After he would put over 300 tries on the map, he would set a 1156 PP play. Although this play was short of the PP record, unlike when the watercolor incident happened, all would change when Emrek would put in some attempts a couple of hours after Utami. Emrek would shatter the PP record, which ironically was set by him, and set the very first 1.2k PP play at the time. Even though the developers of the game had already taken note of the situation and were starting to work on a new rebalance, it wouldn't be a simple fix like with Watercolor. See, with Watercolor it was just a matter of unranking and re-ranking the map, but to fix Zanei, a whole new rework would have to be put in place, and so it was fixed nearly 4 months after the pattern was put into the spotlight. The rework came out on October 1st. Emrek's play would be nerfed down to 1033, which was a difference in over 200 performance points. However, simultaneously his other plays were buffed up to 1.2k, so it was a win-win situation for Emrek anyways. It's pretty interesting seeing how these kinds of events unfold in Osu, and even though farming is often frowned upon, seeing new records broken, even on broken maps, no pun intended, is an incredible sight to behold. Currently no such pattern has been found or teased. I think Zanei learned his lesson from last time.